Have you ever noticed that no matter how much you try to be kind, agreeable, or helpful, people still overlook you? You stay quiet, you accommodate, you sacrifice, and yet respect, attention, and recognition slip through your fingers. What if I told you that the very idea of being a good man could be silently holding you back? That the habits you believe make you virtuous might actually be erasing your presence? Today, we're going to uncover why being too nice isn't just ineffective, it's dangerous, and how Stoic principles can help you reclaim your authority, clarity, and self-respect without losing your humanity. Strength is not submission. Let's start with a truth that most men never fully grasp. Strength is not submission. Many of us were taught from childhood that being good means being polite, quiet, agreeable, and small. You were rewarded for keeping the peace, for not questioning authority, for fitting neatly into the expectations of others. And for years, you obeyed. You nodded when your gut screamed no. You smiled when your soul wanted to frown. But here's the problem. Politeness and agreement don't equal respect. Being agreeable may make you liked, but it doesn't make you significant. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor and philosopher, did not rule Rome by being agreeable. He ruled by being grounded. He did not trade truth for comfort or approval. He said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." And he lived that reality every day, standing firm in his principles even when it cost him comfort, safety, and convenience. Too many men today confuse kindness with weakness. They think that staying quiet, never offending, and giving endlessly makes them good. But the world doesn't honor invisible men. The world respects weight, presence, principle. When you say yes out of fear, when you avoid confrontation at all costs, you train people to believe your presence is inconsequential. And eventually, they ignore you. Take the example of Aaron, a manager who stayed late, covered for others, and never refused a request. He was liked by everyone, dependable and polite. But when layoffs came, his name was on the list. Why? Because he had become invisible. He was useful, but he had no weight. This is the trap Seneca warned about. If you always agree with the crowd, even in good times, you are unconsciously preparing your own downfall. Kindness without boundaries is self-betrayal. Next, consider this. Kindness without boundaries is self-betrayal. Society conditions men to overgive. Every yes that isn't fully yours chips away at your own truth. Each time you suppress your opinion to keep harmony, you surrender a fragment of your will. You call it patience or emotional maturity, but deep down, it's fear masquerading as virtue. Fear of rejection is a quiet, corrosive force. It teaches you to be agreeable, to always serve, to ensure no one is uncomfortable at the expense of your own integrity. Over time, what began as a survival strategy becomes a habit, a default setting, a pattern that defines how you exist in the world. You make room for everyone else, but there is never room for yourself. Imagine this. Your boss asks for extra work again. You are exhausted, but your mouth says yes before your mind can intervene. You go home resentful, not at your boss, but at yourself. You call it kindness, but in reality, it's surrender. Epictetus taught that saying yes when your soul says no is not choice, it's collapse. True Stoic virtue demands boundaries. Marcus Aurelius said, "If it's not right, don't do it. If it's not true, don't say it." Your kindness should not make you invisible. Your generosity should not make you disposable. Without limits, every act of giving becomes a tool for others to use, not a reflection of your character. Earn respect through presence, not pleasing. Now, here's a critical question. If you disappeared tomorrow, who would notice? Most men don't ask themselves this because they've tied their identity to being helpful, likable, and agreeable. They bend, they accommodate, they smooth over conflict, but they remain unseen. Respect is earned, not through constant pleasing, but through presence. Presence is weight. It's calm, grounded authority that does not chase approval. A mountain doesn't demand attention, yet it commands respect simply by existing. That is Stoic presence. Marcus Aurelius ruled by principle, not by being liked. Epictetus, born a slave, gained respect through unwavering consistency, alignment of thought and action, and the courage to stand firm even when life opposed him. People respect men who are unflinching, who hold boundaries, who speak clearly and act intentionally. The moment you base your self-worth on approval, you begin negotiating your dignity. Stop chasing the applause. Stop performing goodness. Stop over-explaining. Speak when it matters. Move with certainty. Be anchored and let the world adjust. Stop being useful at your own expense. Too many men live in the illusion of virtue, defined by their usefulness. You fill in the gaps, carry the burdens of others, stay late, cover mistakes, and avoid confrontation. And in return, people expect it. Your time, your energy, your presence. They believe it belongs to them. And when you finally stop, they are shocked. James, a marketing manager, spent years being indispensable, covering for absent colleagues, responding to emails late at night. And when the company restructured, he was gone. Not because he failed, but because he had trained everyone to see him as a resource, not a man. Stoicism warns against this. Power over your life comes from presence, not compliance. If your usefulness makes you invisible, it's not virtue, it's surrender. Real strength begins with the courage to stop disappearing, to set limits, to reclaim your energy without apology. Don't trade your soul for acceptance. Acceptance is not loyalty. It is convenience. And when you shape your life around it, you surrender your autonomy piece by piece. Men who always try to be liked find themselves exhausted, resentful, and invisible. Every yes, given out of guilt, every suppressed instinct, every compromise for comfort chips away at your authenticity. Marcus Aurelius didn't aim to be loved. He aimed to act with justice and clarity. When you chase approval at the cost of your truth, you vanish. Your identity becomes performance, not presence. Let go of the need to be understood. Freedom is not being understood by everyone. The moment you honor your truth, some will resist, some will criticize, and some will mislabel your clarity as arrogance. That's not failure, it's liberation. For too long, you've negotiated your integrity to avoid friction. You've said yes, absorbed conflict, and muted yourself for comfort. And when you finally refuse, people flinch. They call you difficult. They accuse you of selfishness. But these reactions reflect their dependence on your silence, not your truth. Stoicism teaches that peace comes from alignment with your values, not from universal understanding. You're not obligated to remain the version of yourself others prefer. Your evolution may make some uncomfortable, and that's the point. Self-respect is your true freedom. True freedom begins when you respect yourself more than you fear judgment. It begins in the subtle moments, saying no without guilt, choosing silence over compliance, walking away to preserve integrity. Daniel, a lifelong peacemaker in his family, spent decades mediating conflict and absorbing disrespect, until one night he simply left. No explanations, no apologies. For the first time, he slept free. That is the power of self-respect. It is not loud. It is not performative. It is undeniable. Marcus Aurelius never sought fear or love. He sought justice, principle, and clarity. You can be calm without being compliant, kind without being consumed, generous without being used. Self-respect anchors you in a world that expects surrender. Conclusion: you were never meant to live your life seeking approval. You were meant to stand tall, anchored in your principles, clear in your boundaries, and strong in your presence. Being too good has often led men to invisibility, exhaustion, and quiet resentment. But Stoicism offers a different path, one of clarity, not rebellion, discipline, not anger, presence, not performance. Start small. Say no when it matters. Speak when it aligns with your values. Protect your time, your energy, your integrity. Resistance may come, and that's a sign you are no longer available for manipulation. You don't need to be liked. You need to be principled. You don't need to be loud. You need to be undeniable. Ask yourself, what would change in your life if you stopped trying to be good and started choosing to be grounded? Reflect on that. And if this message resonates, share your story. Your experience could be the spark another man needs to stop hiding and start existing fully.